The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. Okay, Adam, we are back in the saddle. We had a little glitch there. Turns out that my equipment just died on me, and so we had to wait to get some new equipment, and we have some brand new. It's just so fancy. It's shiny. It's ready to rock. Are you ready to rock?
I'm ready. Like I mentioned to you before, your pipes are sounding even better today than usual, so it must be the new system.
Well, people are in for a treat because it's time for Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So since the last time we spoke, there has been a lot of news going on in the Premier League. Earlier this season, Everton was fined. Actually, they were what did we call that? Given a deduction of points?
Yeah, docked 10 points.
Docked, yes. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out that they're trying to be docked again. More trouble for Everton. Now Nottingham Forest is in the mix. Newcastle is in trouble. This is all about these rules about financial rules, the breaching of financial rules. And according to the Premier League rules, a club can lose a maximum of £105 million over a 3-season period, or $35 billion in a single season. And if they exceed that, they face punishment. Both Everton and Nottingham Forest have admitted that they did that. Mm-hmm. So what happens now?
That's a great question. So you hate to think that Everton would get deducted more points. There could be a possibility that Nottingham Forest will get deducted some points, which puts them into a world of hurt when you look at where you're at. So if they lose 10 points, they're bottom of the league. Right. That's simple. And if Everton loses any more points, they're going to be bottom of the league. So these two teams would fall into the bottom two. So let's hope that it doesn't happen to Everton. And I think they've still got some grounds maybe to get their points back potentially. And that may happen with both teams. They may get deducted. They go to tribunals and they have an opportunity to maybe get those points back. But yeah, it's not a great situation because they're trying to obviously keep up with the Premier League rules. And Forest just, for their situation, they just spent a huge amount of money and didn't sell enough players to compensate it. And that's basically what happened with Everton too.
But the thing that I saw about Everton is they were dinged for this earlier this year, and it looks to me like they're being dinged for the exact same thing, covering a lot of that same time, which doesn't seem fair.
I totally agree with you, and I think that's where the Everton fans are getting upset. So I hope that they don't get dinged again, and they're already appealing that sanction as it is. So let's hope, fingers crossed, they get. But it doesn't look good for Forest, that's for sure.
It's going to be interesting at the end of the year, isn't it? I mean, we're not going to know if these teams are really in the bottom or not. You could, at the very last moment, can get saved, or at the very last moment get dinged, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for those teams at the bottom right now, like Burnley and Sheffield United, they're thinking, this is a lifeline for us. Yeah. We might be able to stay up.
Exactly.
So, it's crazy.
Now, another team that is they're not in danger of losing points, but that's because they have players they can sell. Yeah. And it's Newcastle we're talking about, and they have already sold Miguel Almiron. At least that is initially agreed to. He's a big player for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's official, but they've supposedly mutually agreed some type of a deal. Whether or not that goes through, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, something in the region of 50 million. And I think that's part of that is, again, making sure they're going to have to sell players to be able to get players because of where they're at financially. But that's a big one. That's a big loss because he has obviously done a lot for them. 30 goals in over 150 appearances. So he's been a big leader for him. And I know the fans love him. You know, they scream Miggy, Miggy, Miggy when he's playing. So they love that. So I hope he stays, but he's also probably looking at it from a family standpoint. I'm sure he makes good money at Newcastle, but this could potentially set his whole little town where he came from in, I think it's Ecuador.
No, Paraguay.
Paraguay.
Yeah.
Paraguay, yeah. Thank you.
Right.
So it could probably...
The GDP of his entire country.
Exactly, yeah. He could fund the whole country. So this could be a life-changing situation if he gets paid the type of money that these players are getting paid. So
it's an interesting situation because he's being sold to Saudi Arabian side, and the Saudi Arabians own Newcastle, don't they?
That's true. Exactly. So who's to say that they're not just selling in to their teams that they protect? I don't know who owns what teams, but you're right. It could be a situation where they sell him, and are they actually giving money to themselves? I don't know. It makes who knows, but they might be able to get him back at some point. So we'll see.
The bottom line, though, is Newcastle has lost $140 million over the past 2 years. So, 140 million pounds over the last 2 years. So, they are definitely about to violate that rule. But if you can, cut 50 million off of that.
Exactly. Yeah, they sent a few players, and another player that's on the verge of leaving is Kieran Trippier. I don't know if you saw that as well. So that was another player that's on the verge. He's looking at going to your favorite team there, Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
there's a strong possibility. So that's another amount of money that they could kind of reap back in to give them an opportunity to buy some players. But with only a week left in the transfer window, there's a very good chance you're going to see some late transfers here, I think.
I hope for the sake of Newcastle fans that Trippier doesn't get sent to Bayern, because he's probably the most important player on that team.
He's certainly done a lot. He's brought the team up from the Championship, obviously took them into the Champions League this year for the first time. So, yeah, he's been absolutely pivotal for the success, especially with his free kicks and corner kicks. His set pieces have helped them out a great deal.
The other one that I heard rumored was Callum Wilson as a possibility. I think he's been injured recently, though. Yeah. So possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they're going to get rid of Isak because they've just recently signed him. But Callum Wilson could be another player they might get rid of. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other potential transfer window news. I saw that my old pal Jordan Henderson has left his team in Saudi Arabia. Have you heard anything about where he is going to be winding up, or is he just retiring?
Yeah. So no, he signed. He signed with Ajax.
Oh, he did.
So,
okay.
Yes. Yeah. So he signed with Ajax, who are obviously struggling in the Dutch Eredivisie, I believe it is. So yeah, so he's already signed, sealed. There's been a few things on Instagram saying how he's ready to play. So he's excited for a new chapter in his life. So we'll see where they're at. But they've definitely been struggling. So although Ajax is moving up the table, if you remember, we reported earlier on in the year that they were bottom of the table. They're actually up to fifth now. Okay. So they're moving up. So I don't know what that tells you about the Ajax, about the Dutch league, but they've been able to go from bottom to top six pretty quickly.
Well, and they have been a powerhouse there for generations. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, he's there, playing there. So good for him. Good move for him.
Okay, and the other one we just saw this morning is that Calvin Phillips is going to be loaned out to West Ham. And that deal includes a buy option, which I would think that Calvin Phillips would be very happy about, because he's clearly not getting any playing time at all at Manchester City.
Yeah, he came in and was injured at Manchester City, and then has not really even got a chance after he's got back and got healthy. Amazingly enough, maybe another bigger discussion, he's still part of the England squad, even though he's not playing at all. But this would be a good move for him. This will definitely enhance his chances of being in the England squad for the Euros. But I did read today that Juventus may still make a late move for him. So West Ham is on course to get him, but Juventus is still sniffing around. So we'll see how it is. But something around about 7 to 10 million loan fee is what we're looking at. Okay.
Well, every year the transfer window is interesting. So far this year has been pretty slow, I'd say. Mm-hmm. But as you mentioned when we were off the air, there's only 1 week left. So this is usually when these things happen.
Totally agree. Yeah, everything's going to start moving here in the next week.
Okay, let's talk about what's happening on the pitch. We have a Liverpool team in first place. And I noticed that they keep referring to them as going for the 20. And that means they are about to tie, if they win the league, which is a big if still. If they do win the league this year, they will have won it for the 20th time, which ties Manchester United for the most times ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing achievement. I mean, they played fantastically well on the weekend. I'm sure you watched it. They beat Bournemouth, who's been in really good form. They beat them 4-0 quite comfortably. So it looked really good. And that was without their star man, in Mo Salah. But don't know if you heard about Mo Salah.
I did,
up an injury.
Now,
which is a tough one.
How serious is the injury? Because I'm been reading all the Liverpool stuff, and it seems to me like they're kind of speculating that Jurgen was like, "Hey, how about getting injured, and then come right back, and we'll get you trained up here," because he went back to Liverpool immediately.
Yes, so they're saying it's a tear in his hamstring.
Well, if that's the case, that's very bad.
So they're saying, and again, I'm looking at the BBC website, they're saying that it's going to be 3 to 4 weeks to potentially get back, which would be amazing if he would be able to get back
with a torn hamstring.
I don't know how that would work.
This is why I am speculating. This is just, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here, but I know that they didn't want him down there at this. And Klopp has been very dismissive of the whole African Cup. And I don't know if there's pressure on him or what, but he certainly, we'll find out. We'll see how serious that injury really is. But torn hamstring, if that's the case, that's a season ender. Yeah,
could well be. They're obviously putting the positive spin on it. It's only going to be 4 weeks, but I'll see. I'll believe it when I see it because it's not looking good for him. But he seems to recover pretty quickly, and he really, knock on wood, for the most part, has not really been injured too much over all of the years he's been playing. And so this is as serious an injury as he's had, and maybe it could, just because of who he is, he could bounce back. You never know.
Well, he does kind of rely on his speed. I would think that the hamstring might be a problem, but
that's true.
We'll see. And Trent has also been out. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I think he's got just a slight knock. I don't think it's anything massively serious from what I'm hearing. But there's, I think, on the flip side, he might be out, but it looks like Robertson might be back this next week. So they've lost one, but they may bring the other outside back. So he might be coming back.
Well, you gotta tip your cap to them because they have been dealing with lots of injuries this year, but a lot of other clubs have too.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's dealing with it. When you look at all of the players that they've had out injured, I think of even Manchester City. Even you could say arguably their best player has been out for the majority of the season, and certainly Arsenal's had a few injuries, and Chelsea, my team, a lot of injuries. So I think everybody's dealing with it. And that's just how it is. It's all part of the depth of your squads, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So this coming weekend is FA Cup weekend.
Yes.
which is, fun to watch. ESPN Plus here in America.
Yep.
I just went on the betting sites because I'm always curious to see what the odds makers say. And the odds
You're a big gambler.
Yeah.
Big gambler.
Big gambler. I won't put any money on it, but I've noticed that they're usually pretty good about this. They're highly motivated to get it correct. Let's put it that way.
I see your motivation. So I saw something. You've got one of your teams there, green-white teams, heading out to Vegas for a tournament. So I know you're going to be jumping on that plane with them and putting some money. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So the favorites to win the FA Cup, and I hope you're sitting down for this. Are you ready? Guess who they think is the favorite to win the FA Cup?
Maidstone United? No,
I know.
Maidstone.
It turns out it's Manchester City. Would have guessed.
Whoa, that's a shocker. Yeah. What a shocker.
I mean, I'm looking down the list here. They've got Man City at 10-3, Liverpool 4-1, Manchester United 9-1, and Chelsea at 10-1. Everyone else is, more than that. I think Newcastle's at 13, Tottenham 14, Brighton 18, Aston Villa 18. So the odds makers think it's either going to be Man City, Liverpool, or Manchester United. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm just glad that Chelsea is above Tottenham to win it. So that's an exciting 10-1 compared to Tottenham's 14-1. So that's exciting. But if I'm going to put any money on it, when you go out to Vegas, I would put some money on Brighton. They could well be a good long shot. Great team, working well together. Definitely deserve a cup run. Obviously, they're solid in the league. I would say Brighton would be a good back. They're getting some of their players back. Estepinian is coming back. I absolutely love that player. I think he's fantastic. I think that they've got so many good players. João Pedro up top. They just seem to regurgitate players all the time. And I don't know if you watched much of the game. They played yesterday against Wolves. They just dominated the game in their possession. They really are such a good team to watch. So there's some money.
And the Wolves are playing well too. I mean, so
yeah, exactly. It was a good game. I mean, it's a shame it was a 0-0. It would much been better to be a 4-4, 5-5 or something. But still a good game to watch from a tactical standpoint. So Brighton is away at Sheffield United. So I think they've got a good chance of getting through to the next round for sure.
Okay, so I'm sure we may have some other suggestions when we get to your TV tips, but right now, Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Yes, Illinois Youth Soccer with its brand new website. Have you checked it out, by the way?
I have not. I can't wait to check it out.
Oh, you've got to get on it. It's been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975, and it's a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, and administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and referee programs. For more information, go to the brand new enhanced IllinoisYouthSoccer.org on the website. Check it out. And got lots of spots left on the coaching, the DOC course, formerly known as the DOC course, Club Technical Leadership course, that things will be closing there in the next week, as well as our C license, a few spots left. So let us know if you're interested. Pop me an email.
Okay. And you're heading out of town again? Is that related to the job, or is that
kind of, yeah, sure. No, it is. Always to the job, yes. I've been lucky to be in a few places this month. The month of January has been good from a travel standpoint. Phoenix to Anaheim and now Orlando. So coaching a Midwest team, ODP team. That's the best of the Midwest. We're playing against the South, the East, and the West in the little interregional battle. I'm coaching the 2011 boys team. So we've got players from all over the Midwest, from Illinois to Wisconsin to Dakota, everybody. So it should be really fun. Always excited, always have fun with that. It's nice to play on a grass pitch outside at Champions Gate. So it's going to be fun. It'll be a great setup. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, have fun there. Right now, it's time for your favorite fun thing to do here.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
All right, now I should warn you. My son Sean is back from school.
Okay.
And he's going to be taking a semester off to make some money and go to school here locally before he goes back in the fall. So that means I may get some advice on the Guess the Premier League star.
Yeah.
And I asked him to pick one for me this week, and he has picked one. So
of course he has.
I hope you're strapping in on this one. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this player is a youngster. In fact, he just turned 20 last week. 20. Which means he's younger than our sons.
Yeah, for sure.
He was discovered by Kevin De Bruyne, who recommended his coach Pep go see him play in Belgium.
Okay.
At the time he was 15.
Mm-hmm.
You know who it is?
I think I got a good guess, yeah.
Really?
I got a good idea. Yeah, maybe not. Well, I just turned.
He is currently with his second Premier League team. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to go with Jeremy Doku, but it's not him, is it?
No, it's not. No. He's with his second Premier League team. His previous team was relegated after last season.
Interesting.
Now, you know he's a star because his current club spent £53 million to get him.
Really? So is he playing for Manchester City?
No. Nope, that was to throw you off.
Oh, okay.
He was discovered by Kevin De Bruyne, but he's never played for Manchester City.
Interesting.
He's a defensive midfielder.
Defensive midfielder, 20.
Now, this is the part that might make this slightly unfair. He has played in only one game for his current club, and he got injured. I'll tell you a little bit about his current club.
Did he get injured? Did he get injured in that game, or was he injured before and he was coming back from injury?
Both.
All right. Okay.
This club, Adam, has 4 tiers of players.
I know who it is. Well, it's funny because I saw him. I believe I saw him, and I'm surprised he was this. When I look at him, I'm surprised about how old he was, or how young he was, should I say? Yes. So yeah, that makes sense now. Okay. So he's obviously playing for Chelsea.
Yes.
He played for Southampton.
That's correct.
His name is Romeo Lavia.
That's correct. Very good.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he played in only one game. He was injured, and then he came back and played in one game as a sub, and then got injured in that game. But he apparently is, they must think very highly of him. They spent £53 million to get him.
Yeah. No, he's a good player. There's no question he's a good player. Just haven't seen anything of him. So that's the problem. So, yeah, it makes it really difficult to kind of do it. But interesting. Didn't know about the whole Kevin De Bruyne connection. It's interesting. And obviously he's going to be a big part of the Belgium national team moving forward. So that's good.
All right. Easy to remember. His name is Romeo.
What was the last guess? Something about Beckham, maybe?
It was, yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah, there you go. I know where you're thinking. I know where you're going.
All right. It's time for the most important part of the show.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
This is kind of a tricky one. It's FA Cup weekend, but then the Premier League goes back into action midweek next week, and so there's lots of great games before we record another episode.
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of different tiers here. So the FA Cup actually starts on Thursday this week. So we've got Bournemouth versus Swansea. So that should be an interesting match. And it goes through until Monday, and then they pick up with the Premier League again. But I think what might be interesting, I'm going to kind of throw a couple of games out there. I'm really excited about, obviously, Friday. It'll be a good game to watch. 2:00, Tottenham versus Man City. Definitely worth watching. But then I'm also going to throw in this game I think might be really interesting, especially just because of who they are. And I know you love the show. Blackburn Rovers at home versus Wrexham. That's going to be on Monday afternoon, 1:30. So we want to see a nice Wrexham run, and maybe a Wrexham against one of the big boys. Maybe they'll pick up Man City or Tottenham or whoever wins that game, or Chelsea or whoever. So it'll be great to see them play against some of those big boys. And Wrexham's doing very well in the league this year. Could well get promoted again.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I saw a story this morning that they they put out a questionnaire to the fans, what to name the new stand that they're putting out that they're going to build this year. And the fans voted to name it after the owners because they're so thrilled by the ownership.
That's tremendous. That's great.
Cool?
Good for them.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That's good for them. So that's exciting for them. And then we pick up the league game. So by the time we do it next week, when we record again, we'll probably be able to talk about some of the Premier League games that took place. Probably the big game, Wednesday, 31st of January, Liverpool at home, minus Mo Salah, Chelsea, maybe with Romeo Lavia. Who knows? We'll see if he gets back in time. That should be a good game. That's going to be on Wednesday next week, and definitely worth a watch for sure.
The question is Reece James going to play?
That's a great question. I think he's still out. I haven't even heard anything for a while. He had surgery. I think he had a hamstring injury as well. So, it's just been – they've got quite a few players out. But Cole Palmer is still doing the job for Chelsea, so we'll continue to watch him. He's been a really good player for them.
We should take up a collection for him to get a real haircut. Don't you think? I mean his mother no longer has to put the bowl on his head and cut.
Yeah, he could probably afford a new haircut, I would think. So,
he has been pretty something. I mean, the thing that I've mentioned this before, but the thing that always impresses me is when there's a penalty kick, he just walks up and grabs the ball. You've got all these veterans, like Raheem Sterling on the field, and he's like, "Give me the ball. I'm going to put it in." That's confidence.
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree. He's been the player. Without him, Chelsea would have been bang average again. So he's at least got them to a point where they're competing for a top 6 spot. So
are they?
Being the man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you see them up tonight. They 4 wins in a row.
9th.
Oh, up to 9th. Only a point behind 7th spot Brighton. Yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
It's right there.
All right. Boy, your expectations have really gone down.
Top 6, baby. Top 6. And we still got the cup. And Chelsea plays today in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. So hopefully they'll be in a cup final.
Knock on wood. They do have to win because they lost the first leg of that. So
that's right.
We'll see how that goes. All right, well, Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. As Adam mentioned, got a team sending out to Las Vegas for a tournament. Green White has teams for every age, all the way up to over 50. So go to greenwhitesoccer.org to find out more. Special thanks to our executive producer, Tony Lasano with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And now we can say that we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of Free Kicks.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?